Okay, so this is continuing domain and range, but we're going to focus on writing it as an inequality, okay? So when we went over domain and range with interval notation, we talked about using parentheses and brackets and the difference between the two. So remember, whenever I want to use parentheses, that is whenever it's an open circle, okay? Or if it is an arrowhead. And when I use brackets is whenever it's a closed circle or the line touches that point, okay? It's the same idea, but when it comes to inequalities, we don't use parentheses or brackets. We use inequality symbols. So take this same idea. So when I see an open circle or an arrowhead, we're going to use less than or greater than. If I see a closed circle or if it touches, we are going to use less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, okay? So let's go over a few examples. If I look at number 1, okay, first we're going to start with domain. This means left to right, okay? So if I put my pencil on the farthest left point, that's right here, okay? It's a closed circle. So how far left does this go on the x-axis? Well, if this is 0, this is -1. And since it's a closed circle, we are going to use less than or equal to x, because domain is x. And then I put my pencil on the farthest right, okay? How far to the right is this? Well, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, positive 5. And since it's a closed circle, I'm going to use less than or equal to. So let me explain what this says, okay? In layman's terms, this says the farthest left I go is -1, and it touches -1. But that's the smallest it goes is -1. And then the highest it goes, the farthest right it goes is positive 5, and it touches, so that's why it's equal to less than or equal to positive 5. Now if I do my range, that's low to high. Okay, so if I put my pencil on the lowest point, that's this point again, but this time I'm looking at the y. So how low does this go on the y-axis? Well, if this is 0, this is -1. And since it is a closed circle, that means it's touching. So I go less than or equal to the y. And then I put my pencil on the highest point, that's this point again, but this time I look at the y-axis. So how high does this go? And how high it goes is positive 2, because this is 0, 1, 2. And since it's a closed circle, less than or equal to, okay? And then the last question is it a function or not? So remember, a function means if I draw a vertical line, it's only allowed to touch once. So anywhere I draw my vertical line, it is a function. So I'm going to put F for function, or yes, okay? Number 2, domain, left to right. So I put my pencil on the farthest left point, that's right here, okay? How far left is that? So on the x-axis, this is -2. It is a closed circle, so it's going to be less than or equal to, and since we're talking about the domain, this is x. And then how far right does it go? On the x-axis, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's an open circle this time, so it's just less than, okay? If I do the range, how low and how high, if you look at it, if I put my pencil on the lowest point, that's this line right here. If I put my pencil on the highest point, that's this line. So it doesn't go below or above how much? 1, 2, 3, okay? So y is equal to 3, okay? Mainly because it doesn't go any lower or any higher. It's just 3, so y equals 3. It is a function because no matter where I draw my vertical line, it passes the vertical line test. Okay, number 3, if I put my pencil on the farthest left, that's this circle right here. How far left is that? On the x-axis, that's +1. It is an open circle, so it's less than x, sorry, because it's the domain. How far right does it go? If I put my pencil on the farthest right, that is right here, and that is 1, 2, 3 on the x-axis. It is a closed circle, so it's less than or equal to. If I do the range from low to high, the lowest it goes is this circle right here, but on the y-axis, that's 0. It is an open circle, so it's less than y, because y is the range. And how high does it go? Well, how high it goes is on the y-axis, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And since it's a closed circle, it is less than or equal to. This one would also be a function, because if I draw a vertical line, it would pass. So function. Okay, continuing, number 4. If I put my pencil on the farthest left point, that's this corner right here. How far left is this? This is -1, -2, -3, -4. Since it touches and bounces back, it's considered like a closed circle, so it's going to be less than or equal to x, which is domain. Then I put my pencil on the farthest right, that's this corner over here. And then how far right is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Since it touches and bounces back, that's less than or equal to. Low to high, if I put my pencil on the lowest point, that's this whole entire line right here. But how low is this on the y-axis? That's 0. And since it's touching that line, it's less than or equal to y. How high does it go is this top side. And how high that goes on the y-axis is 1, 2, 3, 4. Since it touches that line, it is less than or equal to. This one would not be a function because when I draw a vertical line, it intersects that parallelogram twice. So this one would be not a function. I'm going to put NF or no. Number 5, if I put my pencil on the farthest left, okay, that's this edge over here. How far left is this? This is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. It touches, so that means it is less than or equal to, because it's like a closed circle, x. How far right does it go? Is this far edge on the right side? How far right is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And since it touches, it's less than or equal to. How low and high does it go? How low does it go? That means right here at the bottom side. How low is that on the y-axis? That's 0. Less than or equal to because it touches y. How high does it go? That's this top edge. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And since it touches, that's less than or equal to 4. It is not a function because if I draw a vertical line, it intersects that oval twice, so not a function. Number 6, how far left? So if you put your pencil on the farthest left point, that's this dot up here. How far left is this? On my x-axis, that's -1, -2, -3, -4. It is a closed circle, so it's going to be less than or equal to x. How far right does it go? That's this circle here, and that's 1, 2, 3 to the right, and that's less than or equal to because it is a closed circle. Then I go low to high. This is how low does it go is this dot right here. On the y-axis, that is -1. It is a closed circle, so I'm going to do less than or equal to y. And then how high does it go? That's this dot up here. How high up the y-axis does it go? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is a closed circle, so that means it's less than or equal to. It does pass the vertical line test because when I draw a line going up and down, it only intersects once. So this is a function. Okay, just to get some more practice, if I look at number 7, if I put my pencil on the farthest left, that's this edge over here. How far left is this on the x-axis? This says -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. It touches and then turns back around, so that's less than or equal to x. And then how far right does it go? Well, that's these two dots right here. But on the x-axis, they are both 0. And since they are both open circle, that means it's just less than, okay, not including. If I do the range low to high, my lowest point is this circle down here. How low is that on the y-axis? That's -1. It is an open circle, so that's less than y. How high does it go is up on the y-axis. How high is this on the y-axis? That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And it is an open circle, so it's less than, okay. And then it is not a function because if I draw a vertical line, it would intersect twice, so not a function. Number 8, if I put my pencil on the farthest left point, that's this dot over here. How far left is this on the x-axis? That's -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. It is a closed circle, so it's less than or equal to x. And then how far right does it go? That's this circle over here. How far right is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And since it's a closed circle, less than or equal to. If I go low to high, my lowest point are these two dots. They're both on the same line. So how low is that? That's -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. They are both closed circles, so it's less than or equal to y. How high does it go is this top part. And how high is that on the y-axis? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It touches and turns back around, so touching means less than or equal to. This one would be a function because no matter where I draw my vertical line, it would only intersect one time, so this one is a function. Number 9, how far left can I go? So if I put my dot on my pencil on the farthest left, that's this edge right here. How far left is this on the x-axis? This is 0 right here. And it touches and bounces back, so this is less than or equal to x. And then how far right does it go? If you look on the far right, they are both arrowheads. That means they are going to go on forever and ever to the right, so infinity. And since it is an arrowhead, we use just less than, okay? B is the range, how low to high. So if I look at my lowest point, that's right here, that's an arrowhead. So if arrow means forever and ever down, so that's negative infinity. And then it's an arrowhead, so it's just less than y. If I put my pencil on the highest point, it's also an arrowhead. And it's an arrowhead, so that means positive infinity, forever up. And arrowhead means less than. Remember, we did this yesterday. Anytime that it's negative infinity to positive infinity like this, another way to write it would be all real numbers, or a double R. This would not pass the vertical line test because it would intersect twice, so not a function. Okay, last few examples. Number 10, if I do the domain, this is left to right. So if I put my pencil on the farthest left, that's an arrowhead. Arrowhead means forever and ever to the left, so that's negative infinity. And then it is an arrowhead, so it's just less than x. If I put my pencil on the farthest right, that is forever and ever to the right, so that's positive infinity. It's an arrowhead, so that means just less than. And since I have negative infinity to positive infinity, that means all reals. If I do range, how low and high does it go? Well, the lowest it goes is this line, and the highest it goes is this line. So what is this on the y-axis? How low and high is this on the y-axis? That's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Y equals 5, because it doesn't go lower than 5, it doesn't go higher than 5, it's just 5. This would pass the vertical line test, so it is a function. Number 11, how far left does it go? That's this line. How far right does it go? That's this line. It doesn't go farther left than this line. It doesn't go farther right. So what is this number on the x-axis? This is 1, 2, 3, 4. So x equals 4. Equals 4 because it doesn't go lower than 4, doesn't go to the right of 4, so it's just 4. If I go low to high, lowest point is an arrowhead. That means negative infinity because it's forever and ever down. Arrowhead means less than y. The highest point is also an arrowhead. That means it's going to go forever and ever up. So that's positive infinity. And forever and ever up is an arrowhead that's less than. Since it's negative infinity to positive infinity, that's also all reals. And this would not be a function because if I draw a line through this line, they are literally overlapping, which means they are touching at every single point. They're intersecting a million times. So this one would not be a function. Last one, number 12. If I put my pencil on the farthest left, that's this arrowhead. That means forever, ever, and ever to the left. That's negative infinity. Arrowhead means less than x. If I put my pencil on the farthest right, that's forever and ever to the right, which means positive infinity. It's also an arrowhead, so that means less than. Since it's negative infinity to positive infinity, that is all reals. If I go low to high, the lowest point is an arrowhead. That means forever and ever down, so that's negative infinity. And if I go highest point, that's an arrowhead. That's forever and ever up, so that's positive infinity. And arrowhead means also less than. Since I have negative infinity to positive infinity, that means all reals. This one would be a function because if I draw a vertical line, it would intersect only one time every time, so it is a function.